Well, welcome to week 12, and as you can imagine, this is another big week. We're right in the middle of the process of writing your research paper, and you really need to be stepping up to the plate and paying a lot of attention, okay? First thing I want you to do this week is as I get the annotated bibs graded, I want you to make sure you pay attention to the comments I made there, and that's for two reasons. Is one, that the quality of the articles that I assessed there, okay, are really going to determine the quality of your paper. That's just the way it is. If you don't have good articles, you don't have a good paper, all right? And then item number two is basically you've been working on the skills that you needed to create your works cited list for the research paper. And that counts for 10 points. 10% of your total grade on your research paper is how good a job you do with the actual works cited items. So your annotated bib, I'm looking for your citation skills, all right? So, keep your eye out on the graded tab. Make sure that you take a look at what I have to say about your annotated bib. That's critical for the rest of the process. That said, go ahead and get started on your thesis statement and your outline, which are due Sunday night. And these are difficult tasks, okay? If you've never written a thesis statement before, it feels kind of daunting. So the way you're going to start there is you're going to start with the textbook, and you're going to go to the index, and you're going to look up thesis and thesis statement. Make sure you read all that material very, very carefully, okay? Then the other thing you're going to do is you're going to look at item 6 in the learning module, and there's something there. It's interactive. It's kind of cool. It's called a thesis statement creator. It's not foolproof. It's not infallible, but it kind of gives you some ideas of what you're supposed to be doing with a thesis statement. Now, basically, the thesis statement is the last sentence in the introduction, and it tells the reader what the paper is about, what you're going to prove, and how you're going to prove it. It's that straightforward. That said, this is just an exercise at this point because your thesis statement can still change for two reasons. One, as you do more research, and you're expected to do more research. Just because you've turned in your annotated bib doesn't mean your research is over. I'd like to see some more research. Research is a process. It keeps going. It doesn't just automatically stop because a date has occurred or a deadline has occurred. So keep going with the research. And that's going to lead you to the point, finally, that you really want to make with your paper. It's really a process. It's a path of discovery. Okay? So your thesis statement basically roadmaps the rest of the paper. If you look at the rubric, which is item 8.2 in the learning module, it walks you through exactly how I'm assessing this project coming up, both this thesis statement and the outline itself. And so, for example, in order to get the full number of points, which is 30 on the thesis statement, it needs to be a very arguable sentence that's complex and clearly roadmaps the paper. And when I say roadmap, I mean it unfolds the paper. I'm writing about this, or I'm going to prove this in the paper, and you don't use I. You just come out and state it. The reason why this occurs is this, this, and this. A, B, and C. That's the roadmap. And then your outline follows A, then it follows B, and then it follows C. It moves right along. The outline itself is worth 70 points. The thesis statement is worth 30. The outline is worth 70. Basically, the outline is simply a list of the points that you want to make. It's the topic sentence for each paragraph the paper is going to have. And in a second, I'm going to take you to the criteria itself for the outline. But basically, this outline is going to provide clear topic sentences for the major portions of your paper. Now, you may add other portions as you write the paper. The purpose of the outline is to help you get organized, help you get started, and also move you along at a certain point in this process so that you've accomplished something so far. Same way with the annotated bib. You're accomplishing these different steps. You're getting these things going. In other words, you're not procrastinating. You're not waiting the last minute. I know how it works for most students. They try to put this off to the last minute, and then they're tempted to plagiarize. They're tempted to turn in a lousy paper. I'm not letting you do that, okay? I'm moving you along very carefully. And this is the way W233, which most of you are going to have to take to, unfolds. It unfolds in a very sequenced series of events that you meet those deadlines, and your paper practically writes itself. Although I give you several ideas and several samples of how to actually organize your outline, organize your paper, there's no rule on that. If the paper feels organized, if it doesn't wander off in scattered directions, it is organized. And then if the introduction and the thesis statement reflect that organization, you're in good shape, okay? And if you look at the rubric, you'll see that. I say provide clear topic sentences for the major portion of the paper. That's worth 20 points. And then the next 20 points are awarded on does it clearly follow the roadmap provided by the thesis statement. It's very, very critical. Okay, and then also speaking about critical, there's something called critical thinking. The paper is going to have to read like a supported argument. And when I say support, I mean using your research to support your position. Okay, it doesn't read like a dogmatic opinion. I've read way too many opinions for these research papers. Your opinions aren't worth anything. They're worth less than a dime a dozen. They're a lot like part of your anatomy. Everybody has one. We don't need to care about it or talk about it. Okay, what we do care about is your the support. How did you arrive at that opinion? You have to show that to the reader. That's what critical thinking is all about. Okay. So please look at the rubric, item 8.2. Very, very important, very helpful to you. It'll, rubrics for all these projects show you exactly what I'm expecting. Okay, there's no magic here. All right, I'm trying to reach total clarity. I know it's not easy. Just because I present it doesn't mean you totally understand it. And then the other thing you should do is you should look at the criteria for the project. Okay, that's item 9.1. It's the criteria for all the projects. Hopefully in the research paper. Hopefully you've seen it by now. But if you'll scroll down to where it says outline thesis statement, you begin by reading textbook material, generating ideas in a text, and then you read all the items under thesis statement. Then the purpose of a thesis statement is to help you generate, organize the ideas you want to present in your argued position. As I said earlier, the thesis statement can change. This is an exercise. This is just a point in the process that I want you to reach. Then I'm looking for at least a page and a half to 2 full pages. A 5-page essay is going to have about 13 body paragraphs. All right, 5 times 2 is 15. About 3 paragraphs per page. You can subtract a paragraph for the introduction. You can subtract a paragraph for the conclusion. So you need about 13 ideas that you want to present. All right, and that's how your outline should unfold. So getting started, I say make a list of about 13 points you'd like to make. Look at the list carefully, see if a focus materializes. What do you seem to be trying to say? Then come back and write your thesis statement out of that, and then make sure the thesis statement reflects the focus that you've discovered by reviewing your list. So I walk you through this, okay? And then develop an outline that begins with your thesis statement and then goes into the points that you intend to make in the same order you intend to make them. This order should reflect your thesis statement, all right? And then you can look at an example in the textbook on page 224. So there are also some samples, and there's some more help in item 9.6, 9.7, and 9.8. I think I've unfolded this pretty clearly. As usual, if you have questions, email me throughout the week, okay? I don't read my email on the weekends. And please, please, please look at my comments, listen to my comments on your annotated bids. It'll probably take me to the middle of the week before I get them all graded. Thank you.